Good afternoon, travelers. This is what it's like where I'm camped right now. Most everybody's gone and there's some clouds in the sky. Hopefully it doesn't rain tonight because I'd really like to get out of here on dry ground. Been out here a couple days waiting for it to dry up. But I like this time of day. Evening, starting to get evening. Well, it's around 5 or so, 4 or 5. But it's calm, it's quiet. All the parties are done. And it's just me in the wilderness right at the moment. And I really like that. It's really clear over here. A little clear. And you got the sun going down right over there. Just a little bit more and it'll be gone for the day. I just thought I'd give you this little pic out here of these clouds with the mountains. They're changing shape. They looked a lot different a little bit ago. But yeah, welcome to the desert. Incredible skies. Incredible artist opportunities for me. I haven't done art in a long time, but there's just some crazy skies. Yeah, crazy skies. They don't even look real. Basically surreal. Anyway, I thought this would be a nice intro to buying land in Coconino County, Arizona. This is not Coconino County, by the way. This is La Paz County, where I'm at right now. Coconino looks a lot different. La Paz has got this kind of ground, just a lot of rock, just tons and tons of rock, which makes it really nice for parking on. Coconino's more grass and more weeds and trees. This is more deserty, dry. There's still vegetation out here. And it's kind of dry. It's been raining the last couple days. This will all green up in the next couple days when they've soaked up all the water. This little bush right here is really soaking up water and is already turning green. It's hard to see the little leaves, especially with this camera. Maybe zoomed in you can see them. But yeah, things are gonna green up here just because of the last couple days of rain. It'll green up like crazy. These plants don't need much, but when it comes down, they sure take it. But I also want to give a little shout out to my friend Scott, who hides out. I think he's way over there. I'm gonna zoom in. That's his camper. I'm not going to invade his privacy. But last night, Scott come over and knocked on my door to find out if I was okay, because I did not leave with the tribe. They're all gone. And I really want him to know, and if he ever watches this video, he'll know how much I appreciated that, because just to know that there's people out here that would come and knock on your door if they don't see movement or they don't see you doing what you normally do and check on you. There's a lot of nomads out here are old or older, and there's been some that have passed away in their rigs. And it's awful cool to know that people will look out after you. That's what's so nice about the community. Yeah, I don't travel with Scott much, but he's at a lot of events, and he's a nice guy. And for him to come and check up on me last night, Scott, you've got my utmost respect and approval, let me tell you. But anyway, back to the matters at hand. Tax, sale, properties. And I'll get in that into 1 minute. Well, good afternoon, travelers. We're back. Been procrastinating on getting this video out because I'm not real sure how I want to present this information on the tax lien properties. First thing to do when looking for a tax lien property, and that's going to be step one, would be to get online and take a look at coconino.gov, coconinoarizona.gov. And you get over there and there's a place on there where you can look up tax lien packets. And it's a PDF and it's 5 pages long, and it tells you how to purchase a tax certificate. Now I will put a list of the websites and the different items in the description down there below the video, and so you can download it and look at it yourself. The next thing you'll want to look at is Arizona tax certificate process, which is 3 pages long. In order to buy a tax lien property, you have to purchase what they call a tax certificate. Now, what happens with these tax lien properties is they go into a tax lien, and they're set aside for a period of a year or two, and then they go up for auction. And in order to buy them on auction, you have to have a tax certificate with a number, and you'll have to buy that and get that number. Then you are able to participate in the auction process. And the auctions are held every year on February 2nd. Once the property has gone through the auction and it's not been sold, it goes into what they call over-the-counter lien. Now that's the third document that you'll look up, and I suggest you print it because it's 39 pages of properties at this point. It can get longer or it can get shorter, but there's 39 pages that I found the other day of tax lien properties in Coconino County alone. That encompasses Valley, Sligman, Ashfork, Williams, Flagstaff, all that area over there. Now, I would print that off, which gives you a description of where the property is located, like what subdivision. It has a lot of numbers on it, which the next step, which would be to upload the county map of the tax lien properties. Each property has a number attached to it, which is a parcel number. And in that parcel number, there's lots of information once you click on that. But you'll find these pages, and then you'll find out how to start your tax lien process through the tax lien packet, which will show you how to buy the tax lien certificate and the process you have to go through. Now, I wanted to get online and show you a few things, but I'm out here in Quartzsite, and it's in the middle of January, and there's a lot of rigs out here using the internet all day long, so finding anything online is absolutely a nightmare. So I've done some things that I can show you online, and if I can get this up, I'll show you what I'm talking about the tax lien properties. Let me get over here. I've got a few pictures that I'll enter here. So after you download the pages and print them of the over-the-counter liens, which over-the-counter, all it means is that these properties have been auctioned or nobody bidded on them, and now they're available to purchase at any time of the year. I bought mine on an over-the-counter lien. I did not go through auction. I didn't have to bid on it against other people. It was already open to buy at any time, so I could go right into the treasurer's office or online after I got my tax certificate and purchase the tax lien for the property that I was interested in. I would advise waiting to purchase a tax lien until you've done the other steps in this first step process, which is, like I said, getting on Coconino County's website, which looks like that. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see if I can put this in here. I don't know how good it is, but I did take a photo of it. And then you'll go down and it'll say View County Maps. And then you'll scroll down and you'll come up to this one that says Tax Lien Properties. Okay? All those little pink dots are properties. You'll touch on this and it'll open up. It'll tell you to view the app, and you'll touch on the view the app, and then it'll open up a page that just looks like this. It's solid blue and does this little funky thing for like ever until it loads up that page. It's a lot of page. When you get it, you'll get a bunch of words here about the properties that you agree, and you'll have to read that to see what it says. But I don't know how good you can see this. Anyway, there it is. I'm getting in close. But all those pink dots are properties, and we're zoomed way, way out. Well, now I'm going to zoom in. This is in the Williams area. And I've zoomed in a little bit, and you see all those pink dots? Those are properties. Now I'm going to zoom in more. This is around Highway 64 and Highway 108 up in north of Williams. As you can see, there's more properties the more I zoom in. Now I'm going to zoom in even farther. Oh, that highway's 180, not 108. Sorry. I'm going to zoom in more. And you start seeing the dots look like that. Each one of those little squares is a property. Every one of those squares. Now, if the square is a blue square, that means there's a building on it. And if the square is just pink, that means it's empty land. Some squares are bigger than the others, and some are really tiny. The closer you are to the Valley Airport and the town of Valley, those are 1 acre pieces up to 5 acre pieces in neighborhoods. There's no trees down there, very few, but a lot of people like the open. It's great, it's close to town. There is no electricity out there. There is no water out there. You cannot even drill a well. Okay, think of this. We're on the rim of the Grand Canyon, and way down the bottom of the Grand Canyon is the Colorado River. That's about how deep you're going to have to dig a well. That's a long way. So right now there isn't any water to dig up there, but you can have your water hauled out there. And in order to do that, you would have to pay someone to bring a truckload of water and put it in a water container. And the containers range from all kinds of prices. The other option is to go and get the water yourself in the town of Valley. You can go purchase it. I'm thinking right now it's like 17 cents per gallon. It might be less. I'm not sure. I've not bought it yet, but you can fill up your own containers and have a trailer and bring it back to your property. Now, my friends that bought property out there bought huge containers of, I think, 2,400 gallons a container, and those containers cost around $1,200 a piece. So the water containers are quite spendy. My other neighbor bought used ones, same size, but theirs were like 900. They had to find the used ones. So getting water and having water on the property is very important, and there's only one way you can get it there, and that is to have it hauled out. You're not going to be able to drill a well. So anyway, back to those little pink squares. If you touch on any one of the squares, a little black box will pop up that says either 1 of 1 or 1 of 3 or whatever, and you'll touch the little arrow and it'll bring up an account number and an APN number and a property description, purchase amount, which is usually blank, and the land use category. This particular one I just popped up as vacant land, and it gives you the date it was updated, which was 1/4 of 2021, and it's valid through 1/30 of 2021 at 5 p.m. So the information is valid during that particular period of time. The information can change daily. The tax price can change daily. Now, there's a little line underneath it that says all tax liens available for purchase. If you click on that, that'll give you that big old list. And then there's one that says online payment, where you can pay the tax lien for that particular property. The account number is very important. That will tell you a lot of things. If you click on that, clicking on it, so I have to wait till it loads. And like I said, internet out here is very slow, so hang on. It'll give you property description, who owns it, and different things like that. And it's taking a long time. Anyway, I would suggest you print the list of the properties, find out where the subdivisions are. It'll tell you where these are. There's another map in this Coconino County map area called the Coconino County Parcel Viewer. Now, that's another map that you should look at, which will show you that parcel. You'll put in that account number or the parcel number in the parcel viewer, and it'll take you to that exact parcel, and it'll show you exactly where it is. And you can do that in satellite mode or street mode. And if you're in satellite mode, you can see kind of what the vegetation is and kind of what the road situation looks like. There are county roads out there that are named, and be careful, some of them have the same name over and over again. One road out there called High Grove is like listed 4 or 5 times, but that's not actually accurate, but that's the way it's listed on Google Maps. But that Coconino County Parcel Viewer will give you an idea of where your property is located. If you look at it in satellite view, you can see what the neighbors look like aerially around you. Like a property we were looking at had one neighbor, he had a big junkyard on his property. He had 40 acres, and in the center of his property, he had a lot of things on his property. Now, I've been out there, and you can drive around that property all day long, and you can't see anything that's going on inside his property because he's got a lot of trees. Farther north of Valley and to the east is more trees, but less properties. More of the properties are in a lower area that are flat, a lot of flat land out there, and have very little trees. So this is just the first of a series. I've got to get to where I've got better internet so I can open up the computer and let you see what I'm talking about. But you're going to want to get on the Coconino County government webpage. Then you're going to look up tax lien packet. It's a PDF. Print that, 5 pages, read it. Arizona tax certificate process, print it, read it, and then over-the-counter tax liens, 39 plus pages, print it. So you have all those parcel numbers. Then you can navigate through the county maps, which is the tax lien properties. You'll find out where the properties are, and the parcel finder, and you'll be able to see what area you're basically interested in. once you do all that, you can find out pretty much where you're looking at. You can click on that parcel number. It'll give you the old owner, or the current owner. It'll give you the land size. Sometimes it'll just say a 16th, and it'll give you property description. And a 16th will usually be a 5 acre or a 5, 10, 20, 60 acre piece. If it says it's a lot, that's usually a small piece, maybe an acre or less, maybe up to 5 acres. So we're talking a little bit of land up to 5 acres. So that'll give you an idea of what's out there. And when you look at it in satellite view, you will see the roads going out. A lot of the roads are labeled. A lot of them are not. If they're not labeled, that does not mean they're an actual road. That could be that somebody drove across the property so much that there's dirt tracks. And that may or may not be an easement. Which brings you to the next thing. Once you look at and you've narrowed down on Google Maps and satellite view kind of the area you'd like to pursue, I would suggest going out there. Now, at this time of the year, this is January, there's snow on the ground. It's muddier than heck. You'll have to go out there in the drier season so you can get out there, because sometimes the roads get really muddy and there are no pavement. There's no pavement and there's no road markers at all. So you'll have to use your map as you go out there to see what road you're on and where this piece of property is. Google Maps is not too reliable. You can use them, but I would use the parcel finder to find where your parcel is and see how to get out there, and kind of use that with Google Maps. Go out there, look at the property, see if you're even interested in it before you put up any money or decide, hey, I want to live here, because there, like I said, there's lots of property out there that has nothing on it. No trees, just shrubs. And some are close to neighbors, some are far from neighbors. So that's your first step, is to get on Coconino County's website, download those documents I told you, and I'll list those in the description below, and take a look and see what you're interested in. Tax liens vary a lot according to price. The older the tax lien, the higher the price. The newer the tax lien, the lower the price. Now, for Coconino County, in order to obtain the property, see, right now we're talking about just buying the taxes. We're not even talking about how to get the property yet. But in order to get the property, a property has to be in tax lien 3 years or more before you can even start the foreclosure process. So if you buy something that's new and it's just foreclosed within the last year, you're going to have to wait 3 years before you can even start the foreclosure process. You have between that mark and 10 years to complete it, otherwise it goes right back to tax lien status. Now, we'll talk about the process of foreclosure later, but this is just so you can find a piece of ground that's been in tax lien. You should be able to find out on the treasurer's webpage how long it's been in lien. Once you go out and take a look at it and you say, oh, I really like this place, I would suggest pick a couple pieces out there that you're interested in. Go and find out then online how long it's been in tax lien, how much it is. Some of these properties will already list that list I told you to print, the over-the-counter sales. That'll tell you how much that tax lien will cost you for that piece of property. There's a lot of different subdivisions out there and different names of them, and I don't know what they are. There's just a bunch. Just get those documents, print those documents, look at the maps, go out there and take a look at the property, see what you think, see what the road conditions are. Now, the area I'm talking about is in the Valley area, which has now been renamed Grand Canyon Junction. It is 30 minutes from Williams. It's about 30 miles. It's 30 minutes from Williams. And it's about 60 minutes from Flagstaff, depending on which way you go. You can go up over the mountain on 180, which is a beautiful drive. or you can take the interstate and go straight into Flagstaff. It's also 20 miles from the entrance of Grand Canyon to the north. And before you get to Grand Canyon, there's a little town called Tucson in between. And it's just a little tourist town. It's expensive, but it's there between Valley or Grand Canyon Junction and Grand Canyon, called Tucson. That's the lay of the land out there. For any emergency medical services, Flagstaff. There's nothing really in Williams yet. They're building a clinic. It's not done. There is a veterinarian in Williams. There is a Safeway in Williams. Tucson just has a little country store, and it has a post office. Williams has a post office. In Valley, there's no grocery stores. There's no medical equipment or supplies. It takes forever for police to show up, or county people to show up. Keep that in mind. You're going to be rural. Their facilities are far away. So if you're willing to live out that far and you've got a decent vehicle to get in and out, yes. Also, for zoning, you can check on the property that you're interested in and find out what the zoning is. Ours is Zone G, and it's like a rural residential zoning, and there's restrictions on each individual area. All the area south of 180, I can't say all, some of the area south of 180 are like HMOs. HMOs, they're not HMOs, but like what do they call that? I don't know what they call it, but you pay by the year to be a member of this housing organization, and there's restrictions there that you might like and you might not like. Closer into Valley, there is electricity, but pretty much out where we're at, which I'm about 6 miles outside of Valley, the restrictions are very low. So you have to find out what the zonings are, go out there, see what people are doing. A lot of people are living out there in buildings and makeshift living things that are not legal. A lot of people, they're not legal. Nobody's complaining. You have to be a resident in order to complain anyway. And most of the residents, hey, they like their life the way they want it. That's why they went out there. So they're building what they want. So if you go out there and you find a piece of property you really like, and there's a rickety old shack or somebody's rundown junkyard next door, if you're not willing to live by that, find another piece of property, because they were out there before you got out there, and that's the way they want to live. So if you're not willing to live next door to something like that, find another piece of property. And if you want to put in your rickety old shack and there's a beautiful house next door, I'd kind of be careful with that too, because your house next door might be someone that doesn't want a rickety shack close by. So, I mean, there are restrictions on what you can put there for houses. So you'll have to do your homework. I can't do the homework for you. I'm just giving you a basic idea of how I went through this process to find what I was looking for. I wanted trees. So I basically went up north, farther north and farther out, and I found this year during the monsoon season, I couldn't get in with my van. It was too muddy and there were too many lakes in the middle of the road. And the roads are not maintained. Nobody maintains those roads. So you're at the mercy of the ground. And some of the roads out there are not very good. Some are not even passable because they go through big washes. So you got, like I said, you've got to go out there, you've got to do your homework, you've got to go drive around, take a look at what you're looking at before you go, oh yeah, I can buy this piece of property for $85, you know, and this is a great deal. It may be, it might be landlocked with no road access. It could have a dirt path running through it, but that doesn't mean you can buy that piece and get in and out of it. It might mean that somebody drove through it 100 times, but that doesn't mean that road's supposed to be there. On my piece of property, if you watched my video, there was a path that somebody drove right through it to get into their gate. First thing I did is fence that off. I don't want them driving through my land anymore. I now own it, and the previous owner had never even done anything since 1982 on the land I bought. I, on the other hand, want to do something with it, and I don't want people to drive across. They can drive the main road, which goes right through my property already. They don't need to make another path through my property. So I'm pretty picky with my land. I own it. I pay taxes on it. I need to be able to be the one that allows who to be on it or who not to be on it. And if it's an easement that's in the paperwork and has been designated by the county or the state, it's an easement. They have the right to cross it. But if it's not, like this little path, they don't have the right to cross it, because I have now purchased it and it belongs to me. And if they want to cross it, they have to have my permission, and it depends if I want to do that or not. Now, this is not a very big path that they drove through, but I also saw that somebody was coming through the back of my property and coming straight through my land. And I found out after the fact that I was there that this particular person was trying to find out, okay, who's out here? Do they belong out here? Because people out there watch, and they watch and make sure that you have a right to be out there, because you know they have livestock and they're watching their place too. And if you know anything about Arizona, you have the right in Arizona to open carry firearms, and people out there do. You'll see them walking around all over the place out there with a firearm on their hip. So it's also open range out there. That means the cows run free across your land, and if you don't want them on your land that you purchase, you have to fence your land. That's your responsibility, not the ranchers. So there's that as well. And cattle can make a big mess. They're awesome to look at, but they can make a big mess out of whatever you're trying to build. Say you build a garden, they can trample it all up and eat it, and they have the right to do that because it's open range. So you have the right to fence the property to keep them off. Otherwise they wander freely. I don't mind the cattle. I'm not growing anything there at this point. If I do, I'll build a building to grow my stuff in so the cattle can come across. Now, I will use the cow pies because the cows do drop big droppings, and then I'll use them for fire or fertilizer and different things of that nature. So I really don't care if they come through. There are other critters out there. There's lots of mice, pack rats, chipmunks. I saw one snake this year, and it was a garden snake. Insects, lots of different kinds of insects, crawly ones, flying ones, birds of all kinds, elk, pronghorn, which is part of the antelope family, if you're not familiar with that. And somebody said there's javelina. I have not seen them. And there has been mountain lion tracks out there. We're close to the Grand Canyon. Yeah, they live out there. There's also bats in the evening. So take a look at those documents. Go out, take a drive. This video is already well over 25-30 minutes long, so I'm going to cut it off here, and I'm going to try to get one out next week with the next bit of information. So that's your step one, to check down in the comments below and get those websites. So I'll be adding that. Anyway, thanks for joining me, and we're going to sign off now. As I always say, follow your heart, embrace your dreams, and cherish your life, and do something fun today.